Hello, everybody, and welcome back into another post-game show here at the Hockey Writers. We're doing this one just after the Colorado Avalanche won in an overtime. Josh Manson seeing I shot through a bunch of bodies and scored the game winner. So Avalanche are now 1-0 in their series and 5 games straight. Haven't lost a game in this playoffs yet. Joined in by Kerry Collins, who covers the Colorado Avalanche. How you doing, Kerry? And what did you think about the game just finished up here?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. That was a great game. You knew from the first few minutes that it was going to be tight, I think, especially when Ryan O'Reilly scored the first goal. And then
Yeah.
Once they got it tied up, that was another great goal by Jordan Kyrou. But those late penalties just kind of surprised me at the, calling two like that. And with I think 3 minutes to go, but especially the high sticking one seemed a little odd, but I just thought this was a pretty tight game. Binnington was the best player in the game.
Oh,
Jordan
geez,
Binnington
yeah.
was the best player in the game. He kept them in it. They're up 1-0 after the first period, and Colorado hit 3 pipes. So
Yeah.
it was, just from the start, you knew that it was going to be a game like this where it was going to be a goal like that made the difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way the game was going, it looked like the Avalanche was going to blow them out of the building. I mean, to start, O'Reilly did score the first goal of the game, but after that, I mean, the pace that the Avalanche played with, it's just, you can tell why they were one of the best teams in the league this year. I mean, the way they play is just with speed and pace, and Makar just drives the play. So, I mean, he, like we talked about on the previous show, he just drives play. And that's just the Avalanche just run through him and Nathan MacKinnon, who had another good game. So, I mean, they outshot them 56 or 54. I mean, 54 shots they threw at Binnington, and Binnington saved 51 of them. So, I mean, we talked about Binnington being back. He seems to be. I mean, he seems to be back. And the Avalanche were able to win it, but if he's going to play like this all series long, he could steal a couple games here.
Yeah, I mean, it could be reminiscent of what Jake Edinger did for Dallas, just to keep him in it. And
yeah.
I mean, you look at that game, first period hit 3 posts, hit another one in the second period and another one in the third. I mean, they were so close. They're up 1. The Blues are up 1-0 going into the second period. In the second period, Colorado came out like they usually do in the first period. Yeah. Maybe the delay, that not playing in a week, had something to do with that, maybe. But I mean, they're out shooting them, I think, 16-4 through the first 15, 16 minutes of that period. It was just, I mean, the ice was totally tilted.
Yeah.
St. Louis made a little bit of, tried to make some more inroads back in there at the end of the period in the last few minutes. But I mean, it was that second period, they just completely dominated. But it's tough when, I mean, you shut down that top line if you're St. Louis. I mean, yeah, MacKinnon had a bunch of chances. Rantanen had a decent game too, even though he didn't really have that many chances. He was getting to the front of the net and stuff. It was just that Binnington was seeing everything. Yeah. And I mean, you got to look at this game and go, boy, he did everything for us. And we lost on goals by Sam Girard and Josh Manson. That's got to be tough to swallow if you're St. Louis right now, because you were so close to taking one in that building.
Yeah, well, they were. And the thing is you're looking at O'Reilly. We talked about him scoring against his old team, and he did. So, I mean, but I mean, the Blues, they were having, the Avalanche had a lot of power plays in this game, didn't score on any of them, but, the Blues had a good penalty kill. So, yeah, I mean, you lose on two guys that don't normally score, which, must be hard to deal with. But, I mean, you're looking at, I don't know, the Blues coming out of this game, I think you do look at that. You can maybe compete, because if Binnington can put that together and you can get some goals, I don't know. I think this series it's not as lopsided as maybe the game looked in the shot department. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, you look at those two defensemen. I mean, when looking at the final box score, Manson had 4 shots on goal, had a goal and an assist. I mean, he had a pretty good game. Sam Girard, he had a quality season last year and just really kind of struggled to get anything going this year. That was his first goal. I looked it up as soon as he scored. And that was his first goal since January 26th. I mean, that just seems like a million years ago. And I mean, that's not really his bag, but still that's a long time. And for him to throw 7 shots on goal in this game, Sam Girard had 7 shots on goal. That's just outlandish. I mean, the most he had this season, I think, was 5. I haven't looked farther back or anything, but that's got to be one of the most he's had in his career. And I think that goal was his 3rd shot on goal of the game. And for a guy like that they will need down the stretch in this series and otherwise, it had to be just a huge confidence builder. And, that was a big goal for that kid to get. And it was at a big spot too. It tied 1-1, give them the lead in a period that they're dominating and having a hard time solving the goalie. That was a huge goal in a big spot. And I think that's going to do wonders for him going forward.
Yeah. And looking at on the Blues side, you looked at like O'Reilly had 5 shots on goal, and like he just seems to play well against the Avs all the time. And you're looking at like, that, like I say, the Blues may have been outshot like crazy, but Kyrou had a good game, a really nice goal in this game as well. And you mentioned him on the podcast this morning, which kind of connected, right? So
yeah, it's nice when those things line up, for sure. But what I think is they got to get more. They got to get more out of Robert Thomas if they're going to do anything against this team. And I don't even know if he got a shot on target.
No, he didn't. Yeah. And -2 as well.
Yeah. So it's like they need more. Well, that means probably Buchnevich was also probably -2 then. So they got to get more from those 2 guys for sure, or they're just not going to compete. Because if you can hold Colorado, 2 goals in 60 minutes, you got a great shot. It's just, they did the first chapter. The first step is get out of the first period tied or with the lead, because when they lead after the first period, they're almost unbeatable, especially at home.
Yeah.
And they did that. And then, they were right with them there in the 3rd period too. So, and outplayed them in the 3rd period, which is for both teams, I guess, their highest scoring period. But they need that line to be better. I just think if they can shut down the big guns, but other guys are going to get a couple of goals here and there. And if Binnington's going to play like that, those guys need to step up. Kyrou was great. It's just those other guys need to, I think, be just a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, Buchnevich, 0 shots on goal. Thomas, 0 shots on goal, -2 each. Tarasenko, no shots on goal, -1. So, I mean, that's not a good line for, those guys getting nothing, not even a shot. So they're definitely gonna have to be better in game 2. And the Avs, I think, just keep doing what they're doing in game 2, and I think they'll be fine because they looked relatively the Avalanche of the regular season, I would think, in this game.
Sure.
So.
And I mean, opening this up and looking at it here, then you got Ryan O'Reilly. They had 25 shots on goal. He had 5 of them, and he's gonna do that every night. Like. I think throughout the series, he did it against Minnesota. He's going to do it again. And it's just, he needs more of that supporting cast. It can't just be, him on the up front, and then Binnington, on the back end.
No, it's not going to work.
And I mean, this was a chance for him. It was kind of like what we talked about with the Predators in game 2, where I don't know if they win that series, but it just might have changed. Maybe they win another game if they take that overtime game in Colorado. And it goes back to Nashville 1-1. Maybe in their heads, it's a little bit different. If they go into game 2 up 1-0 already, everything else in that game 2 is probably just gravy for St. Louis. I mean, this has got to be a tough one for them to take. And I mean, Binnington played out of his mind. And if he keeps doing that, this is going to be a great series. I mean, I thought this is going to go 6 games. And this, might be too short, looking at it. I mean, I hope all of the games are like this because I mean, I just thought that for a game 1, that's what everything you want in a game 1, especially, as you get deeper in the playoffs. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. So we'll see what happens in game 2. Thanks, Kerry, for coming on game 1 post game, and we will see everyone for game 2. And hopefully it's as good as this one. And we'll see you next time on the next post game show.